Welcome, Homo sapiens. The topic we have chosen, an apoptosis, is neurodegenerative disease. Here we'll be explaining all the three diseases: Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and Huntington disease. First, I'll introduce our members. Here we have Bharat, Kavya, Keith, Roshni, Safa, and Bamise. First, Keith will explain the intro of our topic.
Let's begin our presentation with apoptosis. Apoptosis in Greek means falling off. Apoptosis is nothing but programmed cell death. It is energy dependent and regulated by programmed mechanism. It serves to maintain a balance between the generation and elimination of cell in the body that regulate the cell population. Apoptosis involves cells that shrink without swelling, where the cell membrane remains intact but becomes wrinkled and condensed. Apoptosis is an integral part of cellular activities. Apoptosis is very essential process. So let's discuss some points about importance of apoptosis. It is recognized and accepted as distinctive and important mode of programmed cell death, which involves the genetically determined elimination of cells. Apoptosis is essential for embryonic development and maintenance of homeostasis in multicellular organisms. In humans, for example, the rate of cell growth and cell death is balanced to maintain the weight of the body. During fetal development, cell death helps sculpt body shape and making the right neural connection. Process of apoptosis may be blocked in cancer cells. Here comes Kavya to explain pathways of apoptosis.
Hi guys, now we are going to see about the two pathways of apoptosis. The two pathways of apoptosis are intrinsic and extrinsic. In intrinsic, the signals they are going to get from the same cell, and in extrinsic, the signal or the enzyme it is going to act from the outside of the cell. So what is the intrinsic pathway? We will see in brief now. Intrinsic pathway, there are two proteins called as BAX and BAC. These both are going to act positively, that is positive feedback. And the other two are BCL2 and BCLXL. These both are going to act negatively. On what? They both are going to act positively and negatively respectively on mitochondria. This mitochondria is the organelle that is going to give signal to the cell for them to do apoptosis, that is cell death, that is programmed cell death. So let's see the positive feedback first. The BAX and BAC, when they act on the mitochondria, it will act positively and will stimulate an enzyme called as cytochrome C. Cytochrome C. What the cytochrome C will do? It is going to activate another enzyme called as caspase. These caspases, they are very essential for the cell to do apoptosis. So this is a positive feedback where the apoptosis is going to happen. And the negative side, it is BCL2 and BCLX. What they are going to do, the BCL2 and BCLX, when they act on the mitochondria, it will not stimulate the cytochrome C. So this is a negative feedback where this caspase will not get to activated. It will not activate and therefore the apoptosis will not happen. These are the two things that happens intrinsically, that is inside the cell. Next we are going to see is about the extrinsic pathway. The extrinsic pathway is very similar, but the only thing is the initiation will be happening from the outside. That is, the Fas ligand, it is going to bind to the Fas receptor. The receptor, they will be outside the cell. This is one thing. And the next one is TNF alpha. They'll bind to the TNF receptor. These both will be similarly acting to cytochrome C and the caspase will be activated respectively, and therefore apoptosis will happen. These are the two pathways of apoptosis. And next comes our friend Bharat, who will explain us about the difference between apoptosis and necrosis.
Hi guys, let us discuss about the difference between apoptosis and necrosis. Apoptosis is a regular process of death of the cell that occurs in the body where the cell itself takes part in the death. The necrosis is a cellular process of death occurring when the cell are highly exposed to the extreme and external condition. Apoptosis is a natural process and not caused by external factor, and necrosis is caused by external agents like infection, trauma, and toxins. Apoptosis, the organelles are still functional after death of the cell. In necrosis, the organelles are not functional after the death of the cell. In apoptosis, the process is said to be a bit beneficial, but it is known to be abnormal in the case and the cellular process that keep the body balanced, cause many cell death or even too few. In necrosis, it's always damaging or harmful. In apoptosis, no symptoms are observed. In necrosis, symptoms like inflammation, tissue death, and decreased blood flow at the infected sites are observed. In apoptosis, it's caused due to self-generated signals within the cell. And in necrosis, it's caused by bacterial and functional infection, microbacterial infection, denatured proteins, pancreatitis, or by deposits of antibodies and antigens. In apoptosis, not much treatment is required, but in necrosis, when it is untreated, it's said to be very dangerous and can prove to be fatal. Hence, medical treatment is very necessary for the case of necrosis. In apoptosis, the process does not require energy since the enzymes is carried out the process. But in necrosis, this process requires energy. Now we are going to see briefly about neurodegenerative diseases which occurs when apoptosis happen at the higher rate. Here comes Safar to explain us about Parkinson's disease.
Here I'll be taking over and telling you about Parkinson's disease. This is a brain disorder where uncontrollable movements such as shaking, stiffness, difficulty with balance and coordination occurs. Symptoms worsen over time and here on progression there will be difficulty in walking and talking. The thing is that you guys don't need to worry because this only occurs after the age of 60 and only 5 to 10 percentage get below the age of 50. So if you consider unique, you better think of checking a doctor. So how does this occur? Here the nerve cells in the basal ganglia get impaired or die due to apoptosis. The nerve cells, neurons, produce a brain chemical known as dopamine. When dopamine production goes low, here the movement is associated with this disease. This disease can also lose the nerve ending that produce nephrophyrin. What is nephrophyrin? It is the main chemical messenger of sympathetic nerve system, which controls many functions of the body such as heart rate and blood pressure. This also explains the fatigue, irregular blood pressure, decreased movement of food in digestive tract and sudden drop in blood pressure in people who have this disease. If you have any of the symptoms or more than that, then that's just you being you. Here comes Vamise explaining you about the Alzheimer disease.
Hello everyone. Right now I'll be explaining to you about Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disorder that affects memory, thinking, and behavior. It is the most common type of dementia. Symptoms include memory loss, confusion, difficulty with language, problem solving, and changes in personality. Causes of Alzheimer's disease. Firstly, the greatest known risk factor for Alzheimer's is age. The development of this disease increases significantly after the age of 65 and the risk doubles every 5 years thereafter. Secondly, having a family history of Alzheimer can also increase the risk factor. However, this does not guarantee that an individual will develop Alzheimer's and many people with no family history still get the disease. Alzheimer's disease relation with apoptosis. The massive neural death due to apoptosis is a common characteristic in the brains of patients suffering from neurodegenerative diseases, and apoptotic cell death has been found in neurons and glial cells in Alzheimer's disease. Here comes Roshni to explain Huntington's disease.
Hello everyone, let's know about Huntington disease. Huntington disease is a rare inherited disease that causes a progressive breakdown of nerve cells in the brain. Huntington is caused by an inherent difference in a single gene. It is an autosomal dominant disorder. Huntington disease symptoms can develop at any time, but they mostly appear when people are in 30s or 40, and if the condition develops before 20, it is called the juvenile Huntington. Symptoms. Let's know about some symptoms. Huntington disease usually causes movement disorder, cognitive disorder, psychiatric disorder. Let's know the detailing of movement disorder. Movement disorder can include both involuntary movement problems and voluntary movement, such as involuntary jerking, muscle problems, slow or unusual eye movement, difficulty with speech or swallowing. Cognitive disorder, difficulty in learning new information, difficulty focusing on tasks. Psychiatric disorder may cause feeling of irritability, sadness and apathy, social withdrawal, insomnia, fatigue, and loss of energy, frequent thoughts of death and suicide.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening to our presentation. Hope you all have grasped the concepts well.